This is a chilling true crime story that can shock you to the core. Our spine-chilling story today is about the murder of the Miyazawa family. Mikio Miyazawa, his wife Yasuko, their daughter Niina, along with their son Ri, were murdered during a home invasion by an unknown assailant on the night of 30 December 2000. Shocking as the murders were, what made this case even more disturbing was the fact that the unknown murderer remained in the family's house for several hours after murdering the Miyazawa family before disappearing. Welcome to this channel. Today, we will be taking a look at the sad and disturbing story of the Setagaya family murder. Before we continue, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to stay up to date with our latest videos. Now let's take a look at the disturbing story of the Setagaya family murder. On 31st December 2000 at 10:40 a.m., the bodies of 44-year-old Mikio Miyazawa, his 41-year-old wife Yasuko, and their children, 8-year-old Niina and 6-year-old Rei, were discovered by Yasuko's mother, Haruko, at their house in the Setagaya neighborhood. Before their deaths, Mikio worked at a marketing agency and his wife Yasuko was a teacher. Their son Ri had a mental disability but received great support from his family, and their daughter Niina was an active and clever second grader and ballet dancer who was smart enough to skip a year in school. The perpetrator of this wicked act had snuck into the Miyazawa home where he strangled 6-year-old Ri and stabbed the other members of the family to death. Haruko, Yasuko's, lived quite close to the Miyazawa family and became concerned when she failed to get a response after repeatedly calling the home. What she had no way of knowing, however, was that the murderer had disconnected the phone lines. She then decided to go over to the Miyazawa home to check things out for herself. When she got there, she buzzed the intercom repeatedly without receiving any response. She then decided to enter the home herself and came upon a scene that no one should ever be made to see. Haruko found her daughter, son-in-law, and grandchildren violently murdered in cold blood in various parts of their home. She tried to find any signs of life in them and called the police to inform them about the horrible murder that happened in the quiet Setagaya town. The murder of the Miyazawa family led the Japanese police to launch a massive investigation. Sadly, while this investigation uncovered the killer's DNA and many specific clues about their identity, the evil perpetrator of the murders has never been identified. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department investigated the crime scene and determined that the family had been murdered on December 30 at around 11:30 p.m. And it is believed that the killer stayed in the house for several hours after the murders. The task of solving this strange case was given to Takeshi Tsuchida, who was the chief of the Seiji police station, and he continued as the person in charge of the investigation until his retirement. The killer entered the Miyazawa home through the open window of a second-floor bathroom behind the house and gained access by climbing up a tree and then removing the window screen. The killer made his way to Ri's room, which was also on the second floor, and strangled the sleeping 6-year-old with his bare hands. Mikio heard the disturbance in Ri's room and rushed up the first-floor stairs, fighting and injuring the killer until he was stabbed in the head with a sashimi botro knife. Investigators analyzed Mikio Miyazawa's computer and discovered that it had connected to the internet the morning after the murders at 1:18 a.m. and again at around 10 o'clock, which was around the time Yoko's mother Haruko entered the house and saw the bodies. Haruko had begun to suspect that something was wrong when she discovered that she was unable to call her daughter. So she visited the house but received no answer after ringing the doorbell. The authorities had strong reasons to believe the killer had stayed in the house until at least 1:18 a.m., but the computer usage at 10 o'clock may also have been caused by Haruko accidentally moving the mouse after discovering the horrifying sight of the murders. After a long investigation, the police were able to deduce several very specific clues to the perpetrator's identity. However, the police have been unable to produce or apprehend the suspect. An examination of the feces left by the killer in the Miyazawa's bathroom helped investigators determine that the killer had been eating string beans and sesame seeds the day before the murders. Investigators were also able to determine that the clothes and sashimi knife left behind by the killer had been purchased in Kanagawa Prefecture. The police also learned that only 130 units of the killer's sweater were made and sold, but they have been able to track down 12 of the people who bought the sweaters. Analysis of the trace amount of sand in the killer's hip bag left at the scene revealed that the sand was from the Nevada desert, more precisely the area of Edwards Air Force Base in California. The killer's DNA and fingerprints were recovered throughout the house, but none matched the police database, indicating that the perpetrator, whoever he was, did not have a criminal record. Physically, the police believe the killer to be about 5 foot 9 inches or 170 centimeters tall and a thin build. The police also estimated the killer's year of birth to be between 1965 and 1985, which would mean that the killer could be anyone between the ages of 15 to 35 at the time of the incident. The killer's year of birth was estimated due to the physicality required for entering the Miyazawa house and committing the murders. The Miyazawa's wounds also indicated that the killer was most likely to be right-handed. The killer's blood type was gained during an analysis of the murder scene that revealed traces of type of blood which would not have belonged to the Miyazawa family. A DNA analysis of the type of blood determined the killer is male and possibly mixed race, with maternal DNA indicating a mother of European descent and paternal DNA indicating a father of East Asian descent. In early April, about 100 days after the murders, police found something quite interesting. They had discovered a small Buddhist statue less than a mile away from the Miyazawa home. The statue was originally brought in as evidence. This statue was in the image of Jizo, a Buddhist deity that protects children in the afterlife. Police brought this statue in as evidence, believing it was possible that the killer left it behind after the murders as a sign of remorse or guilt. This statue remains a sad reminder of the tragic events that occurred at the Miyazawa home on the night of December 30, 2000. The investigation of the Setagaya murder is one of the largest in Japanese history, involving a staggering 246,044 investigators who have collected over 12,545 pieces of evidence. Evidence collected in relation to the murders remains in custody. In 2015, 40 officers were assigned to the case full-time, and as of 2019, it was reported that 35 officers are still assigned to the case. As of December 2021, there is still a 20 million yen reward for information leading to the arrest of the killer. Every year, locals and police make their way to the Miyazawa house for memorial ceremonies. As the investigation into this shocking case continues, we can only hope and pray that the perpetrator responsible for the murder of the Miyazawa family is brought to justice. Thanks for watching. Feel free to share your thoughts on this case in the comments below. And please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe if you found this video enjoyable. Thank you, and see you in the next video.